Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at a TMUA style counting problem. This is a problem that I like to go over with my students who are just starting their TMUA prep because it's a good introduction to the difference between TMUA and A-level style questions. This is a problem which doesn't need any high-level mathematics. It's something that in theory a year 5 or year 6 students could do, but it does ask you to think and spot a quite clever idea. So I'd recommend pause the video, have a go yourself, and assuming you've done that, let's get into the solution. So we're told that there's a group of people, 24 men, and a certain number of women. They're not telling us how many. And it's known that every man shakes hands with 6 women exactly, and every woman shakes hands with exactly 8 men. There are no handshakes between people of the same gender, which essentially means that these handshakes that they're describing at the start are all the handshakes that are happening. There are no more to think about. And from this, we're tasked with figuring out how many people there are in the group in total. So one of the key things to spot first is that the total is the number of men, 24, plus the number of women, which we can call W. So TMUA like doing this, they're kind of hiding the question behind this other question. In reality, we just need to find the number of women to get to the answer. So how can we do that? Since we're told about all these handshakes, we might try to kind of unravel the pattern. So we might try to think about, let's say, these 24 men, 1 to 24, and these W women, so we can label them 1 up to W. And we think, okay, a man shakes hands with exactly 6 women, and a woman shakes hands with exactly 8 men. But what we're already noticing straight away is there's a lot of handshakes to think about. They haven't told us anything which will help us figure out who shakes hands with who. So thinking about all these connections is going to be really difficult and might not be necessary. However, there is something else we can consider which is going to help us a lot. So we can think about how many handshakes there are in total. Let's say the total number of handshakes is T. Now, this is a suitable thing to think about because it's relatively easy to figure out, and it's also connected to the number of women that there are. So let's think about the men first. Well, we know that there are 24 men, and each of them shakes hands with exactly 6 women. So that tells us that in total, there is 24 times 6 handshakes, which gives us 144 handshakes. However, in the same way, we know each woman shakes hands with 8 men. So the total number of handshakes is also going to be W, the number of women, times the number of handshakes they do each, which is 8. So in this way, we've just shown that 8W is equal to 144. From here, we can divide through by 8. So W will be 144 divided by 8, which is 18. And we've now found the total number of women. Since we already know the total number of men, that will give us the total. So this is equal to 24 plus 18, which is 42. And that tells us that the answer is option C. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this problem, and I'll catch you all in the next one.